When we set goals, we are usually excited and in a state of anticipation. And when we're in a state of anticipation, we're operating from this place of force, wanting to force the outcome, wanting to control the way in which the outcome comes about. And instead of operating from a place of flow, we try to force it and we try to put a lot of pressure. And that really comes from a place of fear. What I have learned as it relates to goal setting is that we have to be open to all the extended impossibilities that can exist. When we have a big goal in mind, we're often trying so hard to bring it to fruition. We're excited, we're anticipating it. And because we have so much excitement and anticipation as it relates to the goal, we typically operate from a place of force, wanting to force the outcome, wanting to force the way in which we go about it. And instead of operating from a place of flow, we try to force it. Now, we have unfortunately normalized this. This is how a lot of people go about accomplishing and bringing their goals to fruition. But in reality, it's literally one of the worst things that you can do and one of the worst processes that you can utilize in order to make your goal come true. Instead of trying to attach ourselves to this specific outcome, instead of trying to control the way in which it comes about, the best thing that you can actually do is detach yourself from the circumstances, from the goal, and from the outcome. And the reason that this is so powerful is because it opens up the opportunity for endless ways in which you go about receiving your goal. Truth is, you can miss what you need trying to force what it is that you want. We have to release the control, we have to release the attachment, and really surrender if we want to be successful as it relates to our goals. I learned this by watching an interview with Oprah. It was probably the most powerful interview, but all of 3 minutes long. And it was when Oprah was coming out with her very first show, and they asked her, what do you think about the show? And she's like, I know the show will be successful. And she follows up and says, I know that the show will be successful because I feel it deep in my soul. And the interviewer says, well, what if the show isn't successful? And her response is everything. She says, even if it's not successful, I will still be successful because the show doesn't define me. That level of detachment, still desiring this success, but understanding that she could totally release control and success would still come. There wasn't only one route, allowed her to be one of the most successful women in the world today. And that's a perfect example. If she had so firmly attached herself to what it was she wanted this show and it could only work this way, she could have missed plenty of other blessings and opportunities to create success for herself. I'm a firm believer, like my pastor used to always say, tell God your plans and that'll be the best way to make him laugh. God has different plans for us. And just because we have this target in mind or this goal in mind doesn't mean that we need to be one track only to be able to make it happen. There's a lot of different routes. We might go backwards, we might go to the side, we might go to the left. But each part of that is an experience to get to the bigger picture, to get to the bigger goal. And it's all a part of growing and developing more into who you need to be. And that doesn't mean that one person is less or more successful because they took a different route to get there. Success is still success. So if you're like most people, you're probably wondering, how do I detach from the outcome? And I'll tell you one way that I typically do it as it relates to business. So when I'm having a new launch, I like to keep myself busy because if I can be totally transparent, when I used to launch new courses or new programs or one-on-ones and just open the door, I would try to control everything. I'd be in the back end of my computer and looking at my dashboard and seeing how many people went to the page and how many people bought and how many people didn't. And then it would just cause a ton of anxiety and I would overthink everything. And then I'd hurry up and go and change my sales page and I'd hurry up and post more on social media. And that was the energy that I was carrying. And that was because I was so excited, but I was also dealing with a lot. When you are in a state of anticipation, you're splitting your attention between faith and fear. And when you have your attention on any amount of fear, your subconscious mind is naturally going to try to keep you safe. It's going to look for reasons to validate what it is that you already believe. So if you're no one's ever going to want to buy from me, that's the fear that you have. When you're operating from that place of fear, your subconscious mind is going to find more things that validate why people don't want to take that next step or why people don't want to buy from you. When I stepped back and I allowed myself to be busy, what I found is I got crazy intuitive downloads and ideas for things to do, like lives to do or questions to answer or opportunities for people to connect with me. Just pulling myself out of that space allowed me to get those intuitive downloads, allowed me to be at peace. And then I carried that energy into my launch, and it totally changed my launches. And so now that I understand this, and it was very difficult for me, it's something that I really like to teach people, because it's not just about business. You literally can do this in every and any aspect in your life, and it'll change not only your perspective, it'll change your energy, it'll change your emotional health, but it'll also help to shift and change your overall outcome. Sadly, we are conditioned to believe that we have to control everything. But when we give ourselves permission to detach from the outcome, we create energetic space for new, creative, and expansive ideas to come, for new, creative, and expansive suggestions or routes. And so you open yourself up to endless opportunities instead of limiting yourself. And you're not only able to open yourself up to these new opportunities, you change your energetic frequency and therefore your overall result. Now, if you're new to the energy space, I'm just going to do a brief summary, because you're probably like, what in the world is she talking about? But what I mean is the energy you carry is the energy you receive. That's everything is energy, simple as put, right? And so if you're carrying this energy of like, I'm so grateful that I'm on the right track to accomplishing my goal, you're going to get more things to be grateful for. If you're carrying this energy of like force and control and anxiety and all of these things, you're going to attract more things to feel like you need to control or to force or to be anxious about. And so being able to really open up that energetic space to bring in new and expansive ideas in creative ways is literally going to magnify your overall success as it relates to your goals. All right, so now let's talk about how do you actually detach from the outcome. The first step is to get super, super clear on what it is that you want. Crystal clear, understanding. Don't say I want more money or I want to lose weight. Like, say exactly what it is that you want. And then tune into your body for step number 2. And identify where you feel that pressure. What are the thoughts that are coming up? Where do you feel it in your body? Where is that fear or that anxiety or that worry or overthinking coming from? Really dig deep and get in touch with your body as it relates to that. The third step is to release the pressure valve just a little bit at a time to a point where it feels safe and it feels comfortable. So for example, if you're like, I really want to start going live on social media a little bit more, but then for you, it's like you start to get that nervousness, you start to feel like imposter syndrome coming up, and you're really reflecting on this pressure you're feeling in your body. How can you begin to just alter that just a little bit? Can you do a pre-recorded video? Can you just go live just to say hi for 5 minutes? But how can you slowly but surely begin to release some of that pressure to give yourself an opportunity to kind of dip your toes in before you jump all the way into the water? This helps you to feel safe. This helps you to feel comfortable, and our body responds better when we do this. There is no way I'm going to tell you to like go from 0 to 100 or jump all the way in. Just taking it slowly, but in the direction of your dreams, can help you to feel like that's within your reach, and it can help you to feel secure in being able to make that decision. Finally, the fourth step is to extend your expanders. Now, basically, simply put, expanders are a representation of what we believe about ourselves. What we want to go out and achieve is simply based on what we have already seen happen, of what seems relatable, of what seems within our reach. And when you extend your expanders, you recognize that you can go far greater and far beyond where you typically are or where you believe that you can possibly go. So there's a couple different ways that you can extend your expanders. For example, if you're like, I want to start charging for my services, but it feels a little bit out of alignment to start charging for your services, you feel guilty, remind yourself where you've successfully been paid for your services in the past. Maybe you have a 9 to 5, you get paid every 2 weeks for your service. So reminding yourself of that. A second way to extend your expanders is like visualization and vision boards. This is really powerful because there is no limit to it. But when you create like a vision board, I use Pinterest, for example, I see other people driving the car that I want. And guess what that means? That means that that's available for me. That's letting my subconscious know that this is something within my reach and that I can achieve it. A lot of times when we have dreams or visions, we sell ourselves this story that it's not available for us because we're only looking at our circle. We're only looking at what's around us. We're only looking at what's safe or what's familiar. Extend those expanders and you can see what's beyond that. Another strategy is to think of someone you admire who has been able to accomplish something. This also validates and gives you permission to be able to go after it, knowing that this is too available for you. Now, I'm not at all saying saying that like I love Oprah, I admire Oprah, and that tomorrow I need to have my own talk show host because she did. It's just letting me know that it's okay for me to dream big. It's giving me permission to step outside of my comfort zone and release some of that pressure slowly but surely in the direction of my dreams, because when I do that, it lets me see what's possible and available for me, just like you. One of my all-time favorite quotes says, "You can miss who you're called to be because you're too attached to who you've decided to be." And what I want to tell you is, don't attach yourself to settling for less. Don't attach yourself to playing small. Dream big, but don't attach yourself to the outcome, because when you release that attachment, you allow amazing transformations and boundless opportunities and ideas to flow to you from a place of ease, from a place of passion, and from a place of alignment. Now, I mentioned earlier on in this video that detaching from the outcome can be challenging. And as you can tell, there's a lot to it. But once you learn how to do it, you can apply it to any goal that you have in mind. And when you begin to apply it, you begin to normalize understanding that you're still okay with or without achieving what it is that you desire. You're still successful, you're still valuable, you still deserve amazing things, and there are still endless opportunities available for you. And when you give yourself that peace, you give yourself that calm, you release that pressure, you release that anxiety, you again open the door for so much more. So now I challenge you to commit to taking one goal that you have in mind and considering ways that you can release that pressure, release that control, and detach from the outcome and truly surrender to what God has in store for you. So what I'm going to challenge you to do is, after you begin to initiate and bring in some of these tools and strategies into your life, I would love for you to come back to this video and comment below and let me know how it goes. Yes, it's going to force you out of your comfort zone. There may even be days where it feels challenging, but the results are so worth it. Learning to detach from the outcome and open yourself up to endless opportunities really allows you to step into the boundless version of who you're called to be. And I'm so excited to be able to be a part of this journey with you. So come back and let me know how it goes. Make sure you hit like and subscribe before you head out. And until next time, I will check in and chat with you all later.